Right now, the average annual salary is $56,000 a year. We currently are making less than the height of the Great Depression.
So the Emancipation Proclamation of 1863 did not set any slaves free. What it did was standardize slavery, the United States being the model for the standardization of slavery, that all of the other nations around the world, as they reduced their people from their sovereign capacity and forced them to join nation states.
They have listed your home not as a dwelling or as a home, but as a commercial unit. As a commercial unit. And what the police officer is doing is that they are treating your house and yourself as a registered corporation.
To explain the map, the red are areas that are to be off limits to human beings. If you live there, you won't.
Welcome back. My name is Renee, and this is Highly Motivated, a channel where we check out different things that I find interesting, and hopefully you will too. Today, we are revisiting the American scheme. We are going to hear from some people just like you and I on their thoughts about what is currently going on in our social and economic climate. We are also going to touch on maritime admiralty law and possible conspiracies about our three-letter agencies. I also want to let you guys know that memberships to my channel are now open, and if you are looking to support the work that I do here, feel free to join, and there are some pretty cool perks for you guys, including early access to all videos that I post. If you're new here, do me a favor, subscribe to my channel and hit the notification bell so that you're always notified when I upload a new video. And if everyone could do me a huge favor, hit the like button so that YouTube recommends my channel to others. Without further ado, let's get into it. The Silent Depression. Now, this is a term that was recently coined for what we are going through at this current time.
We're living in the silent depression. The average annual income in 1930 for an American individual was a little over $4,800. Sounds like nothing, but if you adjust that for inflation, a little over $4,800 a year in 1930 is equivalent to almost $85,000 annually for the average salary for one person. Right now, the average annual salary is $56,000 a year. We currently are making less than the height of the Great Depression. In 1930, gas was on average 10 cents a gallon. That would be about $1.73. In case you haven't filled up your car lately, average cost of a gallon of gas is $3.55. To buy a new car in 1930 would have been about $860, worth about $15 grand. The average cost of a new car today is $48,000. And of course, the most coveted aspect of the American dream, being able to buy a house in 1930, cost about $3,900, less than $70,000. I spend way too much time on Zillow, so maybe this isn't surprising to me, but the average price of a home in America today is $416,000. How could we be living with the worst cost of living and wages than 1930? And no politician, no media outlet, no one is talking about it.
Nope. Right. An economy that seems to be built on the idea that people just work, and own nothing. We don't get any of the perks like being able to own a home, or how about buying a home for $40,000? Like a car payment has become a mortgage payment. Like this is, I just don't understand how anybody thinks that this is going to be sustainable for any length of time. And then all of the affordable housing is being bought up by who? BlackRock. Now, this gentleman's name is Mark Keyshan, and he is very well known in the maritime admiralty space. He is a chief federal postal court judge. That is his title.
Hi, ladies and gentlemen. Listen carefully. There are no more police officers involved when they are dealing with men and women. Police officers control, the word police officers control corporations, companies, and etc. They do not have any control over you. Constables is what they are. Police constables, peacekeepers. Their purpose is to make sure the corporations do not trespass upon your personal self and your private property. I use the word personal insofar as a man and a woman. Personal, of course, means persona.
Right.
Now, if the police, this is the second scenario, if the police is trying to enforce, say, a tow truck or a parking ticket on you through one of those public servants that pretend that they have power, like parking tickets, like so-called debt collectors, so-called, installation of smart meters, then what is happening is that they have listed your home not as a dwelling or as a home, but as a commercial unit. As a commercial unit. And what the police officer is doing is that they are treating your house and yourself as a registered corporation, because all companies have to put a meter in for commercial purposes. They are not supposed to be, when I use the word supposed to be, they are not for men and women. So in this instance, whether it's a debt collector or whoever it is, you just simply say, there is no such thing as that paperwork in here, in my home. You are trespassing on my private property. And at that stage, you tell them to get out. If they do not get out, you have the ability, under my authorization, to pick them up by their arm and move them out there with force if need be. But it has to be controlled, not kicking and shouting, removing them. And if the police try to interfere, you tell them that you have always been a constable and you're not here as a police officer, and you're here to protect me from a corporation. If you are not doing that, then I know that you have abdicated your oath
of office, which they all have. I saw the other day a woman called 911 because somebody had unalived her aunt and was going to get her next. They showed up to the house, knocked on the door, and when no one answered, 3 minutes later they left. Now, they go so much harder for a traffic stop, but when someone's life was truly in danger, they left. And guess what? 5 hours later, they went back to the home and it was a mess. So you can tell, they show you in their behavior who they're working for. Here we have a woman describing the actual true nature of law as it works in our nation.
This is for educational purposes.
What law really is. Most of us think that we go into a courtroom and understand the difference between a court and a courtroom, that the people who purport to use law really use words of art to make you believe, in fact, that law is on the table when you walk into a courthouse or a courtroom, when in fact that's not true. And I would like to share with you tonight, regardless of your religious persuasion, what law really is. Law, and as Muslims would say, all law, is A-L-L space L-A-W, all law, all law. So for anyone who's of a Christian persuasion, don't be misled. And when you hear the term all law is God, all right? That is also what we would say in lawful terms, a misnomer. Allah is not God. God has no capacity and no standing to all law. because God means governmental ordinance departments. There is no comparison. Now, who can use law? Law can only be used by people who are in their sovereign capacity. And as I will share with you tonight, the majority of the people in the world, and I'm not going to get into all of the details about that, but the majority of the people in the world, 99% of them live in slavery today. So in 1863, via the Emancipation Proclamation, and I challenge you to go look in a law dictionary and look up the definition of emancipation and proclamation, and you will see that a proclamation is not a law. A proclamation is a public announcement by elected officials. It is.
And what are they doing over on the islands right now? The U.S. ones. I mean, I don't even know if I can say it at this time because they do not want what's going on there getting out. But sounds familiar, right?
Not a law. So the Emancipation Proclamation of 1863 did not set any slaves free. What it did was standardize slavery, the United States being the model for the standardization of slavery, that all of the other nations around the world, as they reduced their people from their sovereign capacity and forced them to join nation states, then they were able to issue statutes, codes, ordinances, resolutions on them. And a statute, as in a state statute of the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania, is not a law. It is.
And they use problem, reaction, solution. What is today the anniversary of?
Corporate policy of the corporation that calls itself the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania Incorporated. All right? Now, a code is not a law. The United States codes, the code of the laws of the United States of America that are used in federal court and the Supreme Court, are not law. They are what they say they are. They are codes, ordinances, and resolutions of a municipality of the city of Philadelphia, which is a private nonprofit corporation that calls itself the city of Philadelphia. An ordinance and a resolution, as in parking ordinances, they are not law. They are what they say they are. They are ordinances and they are resolutions.
Yes.
All right? And the reason...
And all we do by following every single one that comes out is strengthen their illegitimate BS.
They are not law is because the only people who can issue law are people who are acting in their sovereign capacity. And the people who sit in these seats as elected officials are not, in fact, in their sovereign capacity.
Nope.
They are in a corporate ward status.
Yes.
Meaning that they are wards of the state. They are members of the corporation, which is a nonprofit, that calls itself the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania. And as long as they have a birth certificate on record with the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania, with that birth certificate being a contract, a birth certificate is a contract. And as long as you have a contract with the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania Incorporated, you belong to them. And that's what slavery really is. Right? So who can use law? If you are a member of a corporate ward state, if you are a member of a corporate ward nation that calls itself the United States of America, you are a citizen. Look in the law dictionary and look up the definition of citizen. A citizen is not a sovereign. A resident is not a sovereign. Therefore, if you use an address, which is a fictitious number associated with a designation issued by a corporate ward, right? Then you become under the jurisdiction of those people who are also corporate wards, but who are also slaveholders. All right? So if you are operating in that capacity, law does not apply to you. If you are a resident of the city of Philadelphia, which is a private nonprofit corporation, and you say you are a resident of the city of Philadelphia, then the ordinances and the resolutions of that private nonprofit corporation apply to you.
Right.
If you are a citizen of the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania Incorporated, which is a private nonprofit corporation, then the statutes of that nonprofit corporation apply to you.
And it is all put in place in that specific way to trick us into tacitly agreeing to things that we technically do not have to by law, by true actual.
If you are a citizen of the United States of America, which is a private nonprofit corporation, then the code of the laws, right, apply to you. But if you are a sovereign of the Moorish Empire, those ordinances, those resolutions, those codes, those statutes do not apply to you.
They have their own
because
license
you are
plates.
not a member of the corporate ward state. It's as simple as that. And they understand the difference. This is why on their documents, they use words of art. They use the word label. They use the word person. They use the word address. All of these things that place you in their jurisdiction, and you unknowingly fill out forms every day. And every time you fill out a form, you enter into a contract.
Yes.
I don't
You
care what kind of form
strengthen.
it is. It's a contract. A driver's license application is a contract. A social security application is a contract. When you call up the telephone company and you make a verbal contract over the telephone, this is why they can bill you. When you sign a deed, it is a contract. When you fill out a voter registration form, it is a contract. Does everybody understand that? Don't ever think anything that you put your signature on becomes a contract. All right? Now, the fact that you are not in your sovereign status means that you make a contract as a minor. They don't care. They know you are a minor because, and to be other than a minor.
Yeah, and this is all to what? Usurp our God-given authority over the plane that we live in. The majority of people are ignorant to this information, and if you look it up on Google, you will come across some information that says that it's not real, it's fake, and police officers, they do not like to come across what are known as sovereign citizens, and a lot of them don't understand it either. They purposely hire useful idiots that and then don't teach them the actual law, and that is how they are able to basically violate your rights anytime they come in contact with you and you don't even know what's happening. You just go along with it. Now, I think this man has a really great message, and while I don't agree with every single tiny thing, I think that the overall message is a very good one.
What's up, guys and goddesses? Yo, today's message is very powerful. Don't skip. Listen to this to the end. Everybody has to hear this. Yo, we are in a war, man, versus light versus dark, and it's not about color. They want us to fight and kill each other over color and over dumb stuff, you hear me? But they're really here to try to figure out how we're ascending into heaven or into paradise. That's what you guys call it, but it's higher frequency. And we are gods in a human form having a human experience. None of this is real. You're in a
That's the part I don't agree with. I don't think we're gods. I know we're not gods.
matrix. You're in an illusion. This is what they call a projection of a hologram. Everybody is like an avatar. I know y'all seen the movie, so people can't act like they don't know what I'm talking about. There's a movie called Avatar. Go look it up. Blue people. Yeah, where you seen them transfer people's consciousness to another being's body. They've been doing it, and cloning is real. All of it is real, man. Everybody gotta wake up and stop being so distracted by TV, movies, drama, and stuff that don't matter. All that stuff is low vibrational. Listen to your heart and follow your heart and make all your decisions from your heart. That's how you escape the matrix. That's how you make it out of here. It's not about money. Whoever has the most money, the most power. Money and power doesn't matter. It won't get you into heaven. That's why they're stuck here, because that's all they care about. They don't have no heart center. All they care about is low vibrational stuff. So you, as a god and a goddess, gotta go within your heart and make the right decision. Look how the wind is responding.
As a creation of the Most High, Lord Jesus Christ.
Look at that. You got to make the right decision, because we're all in tune with nature. We're like the elementals, but we're all in one. That's true. Like I said in my last video, elementals are real. So like and subscribe if you're not already following, and comment also so we can get this thing to blow up, because everybody needs to hear this, man. We all need to wake up and come together and stop fighting each other and stop killing each other. Spread love, not hate and fear. There was a lower vibration, and it keeps you stuck in a lower dimension, in the third dimension. That's where we're at, and that's where we've been at, because of them manipulating our body and our frequency. That's what they've been doing. They've been giving us shots like the vaccine and all that stuff. It's to lower your vibration, to lower your frequency, so you can't escape before they figure out how you're doing it. That's the whole game. They want to figure out how we're escaping and raising our consciousness and our vibration, and then leaving out into a higher dimension. And because they can't do it, because they're low vibrational beings that feed on hate, fear, and despair, and low vibration. You understand that? So everybody have to wake up, man. You know what I'm trying to tell them? Stop paying attention to nonsense and pay attention to what people are saying to you that's trying to help you. Like Dr. Batar, Rashid Buttar, they killed him recently for trying to tell you the same exact thing. It's not about money and power. They got all the money and power in the world. You understand me? They have all of it. So everybody got to wake the fuck up and pay attention, man. It's about our spirituality. It's a spiritual warfare. So do the right thing, like and share this, and follow me for more. Peace, guys.
In my opinion, they're not trying to figure out how we're doing it. They lost their salvation. They can't get it back. So they blame us for that. And if they can take one soul away from God and hurt God, then they're happy. And so all of this whole thing is to steal our salvation, and they don't realize it, but it's already won. There's nothing that they can do. It's done. It is finished. Here we have former CIA agent Ralph McGehee, and this came out in 1983. So listen to what he has to say, and I'm like shocked that this was out this long ago. And it's like this isn't new, and there still seems to be people who have zero idea of any of this.
CIA is not an intelligence agency. It's a covert action agency. Covert action being overthrowing or supporting foreign governments. Another part of covert action is disinformation. And the American people, in my estimation, are the primary target audience of the agency's disinformation operation. Of course,
Yep.
The agency developed what they called Wisner's Wurlitzer. That was what they call an organ that he could play any tune he wanted anywhere in the world at any time. Supposedly they owned one newspaper in any country of the world, and whatever articles they want run, whatever themes that they wanted to propagate, all they had to do was just press the right buttons, and those articles and themes would come up in those countries. See, an intelligence agency.
And now, I don't know about you, but it kind of sounds like he's describing some sort of AI program. And I think that AI is much older than they want to let on. I'm pretty sure it's got to be some sort of black magic, as all technology truly is. It's just interesting to hear them talk about that propaganda has been okay, according to them. They've been able to lie to us as far back as that, and I'm sure way before. And there's still people today who are like, yep, I'm going to turn on the news to find out what's going on in the world. This woman has an interesting theory.
For blue, maybe we can play the frequencies for blue to counter this frequency. I'm sure you've seen that TikTok video of that purple toothpaste that eliminates the yellow teeth. Well, it doesn't actually do it. It's an illusion. The frequency of purple counters the frequency of yellow, making it seem white. Countering one color with another. Countering frequencies with another.
This is an interesting theory. So for every color, there's a frequency, which would correspond to a vibration or sound. So what if you played out of your speakers as loud as you could the frequency sound of blue? Would it protect you? Interesting. Now, what I love about this particular video is this man says nothing out of his mouth. However, he says a whole lot. Open your eyes. The largest private landowner. Okay. 150 years is a long time. Okay. Oh, is that a shocker? Is anyone surprised? Well, I think that the shortest list would be who's not owned by BlackRock. Or what company is BlackRock not the largest shareholder of? Now, this man is speaking about the plan for their Hunger Games Mark of the Beast Society.
To explain the map, the red are areas that are to be off limits to human beings. If you live there, you won't. The yellow areas are the areas for major control of all human activity. If you live there, you won't. The black dots are the smart growth zones. That's where human beings are to be stacked and packed.
Do you see how small? Okay, these are the black dots. Now, I don't know if you need to pause this to look at those black dots. They are the smallest portion of this entire map.
And small living units along rail tracks. Smart growth program ultimately has jobs assigned and children cared for by the state.
Ooh. Now, does that not sound reminiscent of that animated short Beyond the Reset that we did a video on not that long ago? Now, many people don't know this, but the Postmaster General is actually the highest entity in any country. And even judges have their paychecks signed by the Postal General of every country.
Countries worldwide are controlled by the post office. Not the courts, not the judges, not the kings and queens, but the postmasters. The fact is, they're on timetables that run on 7-year international, on domestic bankruptcies and 70-year international bankruptcies. These bankruptcies control the planet for the last 6,500 years in all countries. All countries worldwide are controlled by the post office. Not the courts, not the judges, not the kings and queens, but the postmasters of the world run the entire planet, have for 6,700 years, going all the way back to Pharaoh, henceforth the Masons. I'm going to show you a dollar bill here, which you're all familiar with, and on the back of the dollar bill you have the eagle, right? Notice the eagle's wings are turned up. If you notice the eagle's wings here are turned down. That's because it's a phoenix. This is Vatican rule, banking. And the flag here has a yellow fringe on it. And the yellow fringe flag changes the dimension of the flag. This is a maritime braid for commerce. The fringe changes the description of the flag. It's under Army Regulations 840-10, Chapter 2-6. Allows for fringe to be put on military flags for parades. But anything you put on top of the flag cancels the contract of what a flag is. So even though you think you're looking at a United States flag, United, UN means no, and ITE is citizen. A no citizens condition of state flag, controlled by Vatican banking. You're all under commerce. So who's the Vatican?
Who runs the Vatican? Who is at the top of the Vatican? Well, I'll give you a guess, or I'll give you some clues. They have a serpentine hall. They named their telescope Lucifer. I think that if you read between the lines, you know who is at the top and who the highest levels of the Vatican are truly worshiping.
Masters. They work with Bern, Switzerland, through the Universal Postal.
You know, it's very interesting that we are not taught any of this in school. and elites, they don't send their children to the same types of schools that we go to. They don't learn the same history. They don't learn the same economics even. They live in an entirely different system and set of rules than we do. And so I always want to maybe warn people that when you're thinking of what others who are at the top with unlimited money and have been in power for as long as they have, you cannot you cannot base what they would do off of what you would do, because they're not built the same. They are born into the top of this world, and in order to be at the top of this world, your allegiance has to be to who's the ruler of this world? Lucifer. So I hope everybody enjoyed the video today, and until next time, stay prayed up and stay highly motivated.